So I'm Ian Cogswell, former banker, been a banker for over 25 years, and recently set up my own consulting business, working with FPSO owners and operators in raising debt finance for new FPSO projects. Well, I think that at the moment the FPSO industry is very buoyant. We heard this morning a number of speeches about how many FPSO projects there are going to be in the next 2 or 3 years. We never know exactly how many will actually happen, but certainly the amount of investment, the number of people that are here today proves that the next 2 or 3 years should be good for the FPSO industry. The biggest issue for financiers always is risk allocation and ensuring that the risks that they're taking on in the financing are appropriately allocated. I think most financings for FPSOs, we don't tend to take reservoir risk. We make sure that that's passed on to the field developers. So the biggest issue we're seeing is making sure that the construction of these projects happens on time and within budget. And I think once we actually have a project that's operating, we tend to sleep relatively well at night. Banks don't really have any upside in a financing. They lend money and they receive repayments and an amount of interest. What we have to ensure is that operators don't ask the banks to take on risks that they're not prepared to take, or in particular that they're not able to manage. So for instance, we talked about construction risk. In one of the roundtables earlier, one of the operators was asking how the banks should adapt to be able to take construction risk. And I think really what we should be looking at is how can the operators ensure that they retain that risk, because it's a risk that the banks can't manage. So I think in order to ensure that these projects remain bankable, make sure that you don't start asking the banks to take risks that they're just not equipped to take. By far and away, the biggest opportunity, speaking at one of these events, is the opportunity to meet so many people from the industry. You get to meet those people that you deal with on a regular basis, and also people that you might not know already. So it gives me the opportunity to ensure that people know what I do, and I learn something while I'm here. The roundtables here today have been great. With a roundtable, you're entirely dependent on whether people will speak. And today, the two that I've been involved in, everybody has contributed. So it makes it for a lively debate, and everyone learns something.